You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that's on all the time, anytime. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all content. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell. Bring your sports game with Big Nate Sports Talk.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a great week. Hope you're all staying safe. This is episode 17 of the podcast. Before we get into it, there's a few things I'd like to say up front. The last time you saw me was about, 9 days ago when we recapped the conference finals for the NFL. A couple of things that are happening down the pipe. I know we have been I've talked about in the last episode to get some Maryland content out there. I will have some Maryland content out tomorrow. The ladies played Northwestern tonight, and that was a very one-sided game. There really wasn't much to go off on, but I will actually leave a link in the description when I recap the men and women's, because for those that don't know, I started writing for the Maryland women's basketball team on MarylandSportsBlog.com. I've also put in accreditation application for covering the team for Big Ten, the Big Ten tournament. I hope I will have my response by the 24th. So, crossing fingers that I get that across. So that has to be approved. Brendan Potts will be joining me this weekend on a recorded episode. He reached out to me. He wanted to do some WNBA talk. So I'm a man of my word. We'll get that out to you. I know we did also talk about that as well. Other than that, that's pretty much that's going on right now. We still, my team and I have talking, just confirming some things behind the camera when we will officially decide to go live. It's looking like we're going to stay with episodes recorded for now. But in the meantime, you're still going to get content. We also have the NFL off season that we need to talk about what teams need to do for the off season. Also, too, I think this is also very important. with the NFL mock draft, with the NFL kind of free agency starting soon, that's also going to play a big role in how the offseason dictates mock 3.0. I'll have three mock 3.0, three drafts. I will also have a 2.0 mock draft because we are now pretty much into week 2 of the free agency. Today, Brandon Stewart, Courtney Vanderbilt had their media availability. Saw that live on YouTube. Other than that, man, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on. There's really not much else happening. Other than that, that's what's pretty much going on in my neck of the woods. I have also decided that we will no longer be talking about the Washington Wizards. I've checked out. I know I talked about doing a video a few weeks ago, but I have I'm done. I've checked out. I cannot do it anymore. I'm done. Watching them blow a 20-point lead to Portland and then a 23-point lead to Brooklyn. They've tried to pick it up a little bit on the road, and then to see them make absolutely no moves on today's NBA trade deadline, I've just checked out. We're also getting ready for baseball, so I have a baseball preview out at some point. But just be tuned in for the content, man. And as I said all that, we transition into Super Bowl 57. I cannot believe it, man. Football just went by so fast. I can't believe it's officially over. A couple of things that stand out for me. These were the two teams that to me were the best this year. I had picked in my initial prediction, I wanted the Eagles. I wanted the 49ers and the Chiefs. We'll talk about that on the offseason. I've heard some stuff that I'm not too fond of, and I'll talk about more in the offseason talk. How I'm going to do that really quick is by divisions. So that's how we're going to do the offseason talk. When I look at these two teams, a couple things that stand out. We already know that Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, the first Super Bowl where there's two black quarterbacks. Doug Wentz was the first to win as a quarterback. Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce. The first time brothers will see each other on the field. I think these two teams, offensively, I say match up well. Defensively, there's there's some questions. I mean, when I look at, for me, I think this has the making of a good Super Bowl. It's going to be competitive. I see about I see a competitive game. Last year's Super Bowl was very, to me, boring. I love defense, but I also have a pet peeve when your offense is not prepared, and that's something we clearly saw in the Super Bowl last year. Now, the Chiefs versus the Eagles. A couple things that stand out to me when watching this game. The key for me is going to come down to Kansas City's pass rush. I mean, the defense. Let me say it like that. Other than Chris Jones and Frank Clark, because I know those two are going to bring their A game. Somebody else on that defensive side of the ball, I need someone to step up, whether that's a Latavius Sneed or whoever. I know that Philadelphia's offensive line is going to have their hands full with that defensive front four, particularly with Chris Jones. His ability to take over a game defensively, you have to be aware of him practically all the time, whether you're running the ball or passing the ball. I mean, he is just a quick and a powered defensive end. When they played Dexter Lawrence on Philadelphia, I look for them to double team him. But I also expect him to be kind of active, moving around. Um, the thing for me is also going to come down to defensively for Kansas City. How do you contain Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Goddard, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, and the others on that offense too? You know, when you look at when I look at Tampa, when I look at Philadelphia, the biggest thing, and even watching, I really don't count the San Francisco game because I felt like once Brock Purdy went down, that kind of changed everything. It's just how do you keep those guys in check? Because this is a defense that we have been continuously getting on for quite some time of not being effective and not being consistent. And for me, there's going to be a lot of that. That's going to be the biggest question. Steve Spagnuolo is going to have his hands full defensively to maintain all those weapons, running and passing the ball. Philadelphia, for me, offensively, it's going to come down to being effective running the ball. I think you can contain Frank Clark and Chris Jones from having a good game. I think establishing the run early is going to be key if you're Philadelphia. But not just Miles Sanders. Look at Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell. They have guys that can affect the game in many different ways with their skill set. And not just him too. Jalen Hurts. And I said this when he played Philadelphia. I mean, not Philadelphia, when he played San Francisco. You have to take away his arm or his legs, or it's going to be a long game if you're on defense. And that's something San Francisco just failed to do. And it showed. When I look at Philadelphia, it's going to come down to what do you establish first? Because I think it starts with your defense. Kansas City's number one ranked offense. You know, I believe, were in the top like 21 in rushing the ball. And then coming into the playoffs, they were ninth. Like, we all know that offense led by now MVP Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and this is an offense without Tyreek Hill. Like, to see what offense has done, it has been amazing to see them really kill the question of, well, how does offense look without Tyreek Hill? And they've proven that they're doing just fine. Now, when you look at Kansas City offensively, they have been at times throughout the season very careless with the ball. I think they're in the top 15. I want to say like around 13th or 14th in turnover differential. But this is regular season. Playoffs, they're more disciplined. I think they're actually number 3 when turning the ball over. And again, with that offense, the loss of Tyreek Hill, I noticed that their red zone offense stepped up more, which to me I think is going to be the key. I think they were second in red zone scoring. And the biggest thing is, if you're Philadelphia defensively, you got to keep them out the red zone. When you keep them out the red zone, you got to keep them. They're going to have to convert. It's going to have to come down to how do you keep that red zone offense in check. That's the key. Because if you look, when they run the ball too, they've, whether it's Isaiah Pacheco or Jerick McKinnon, all them running the ball, but also too just the ability offensively where everybody's touching the ball. that's going to be interesting. Now, for me, I think it's going to come down to, as I stated, the these are the two best teams, uh, I think, in my opinion. Um, Again, the defense for Philadelphia, we know that pass rush is no joke. Um, they've allowed the second fewest yards this year. Um, you know, to see where Jalen Hurts has been from last year, everyone was ready to throw the talent on him. And again, when you get your quarterback help, those things matter. Um, for me, it's going to come down to Kansas City's pass rush versus, Philadelphia's pass rush versus Kansas City's offensive line. I think that's going to be the key. I think Kansas City's offensive line versus Philadelphia's pass rush, and then Kansas City's defensive pass rush versus Philadelphia's offensive line. Who's going to generate pressure? Who's who? I'm going to give you a statistic. I think it's Hassan Reddick. I think he had 17 and a half sacks this past season, and then the postseason. Like, you're going to have to figure out how to contain him. Now, they got, to me, I think he's a combo tackle, but he's a left tackle. Nothing but love for him, Orlando Brown Jr. And I think they're going to have to figure out how to contain him. I think also to Andrew, I think it's Willie, like they're going to have their work cut off for them. And to me, when you look at it, it's going to come down to those things. Establishing the run early is going to be key for me for Philadelphia. When I look at Philadelphia, like, defensively, like I stated earlier, they're going to bring it. But I think also, too, I think this is also kind of important to kind of point out. They really haven't played anybody tough. These last 3 weeks have been essentially bye weeks for Philadelphia. I can honestly say that watching Philadelphia, I feel like this is just – I think this is going to be a true matchup for them. Yes, they've played some offenses where some teams where they've gotten checked. Washington, for example. Dallas is another example. But I think when you look at defensively, and I looked at these stats before I went live. They allow 30 points a game. They allow I think their success rate is like 57%, and then it's like 3 points per drive. Like, yes, against crappy teams, they were great, but other than that, they've played some teams where they kind of got checked. Like Detroit was a good example. I think Detroit put up like 30-something points on them, even though you lost. It was a good game. But it's going to come down to defensively for me. The defense is going to be key. How do you generate pressure on Patrick Mahomes? Because we know Patrick Mahomes is an escape artist out the pocket. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. But you've got to worry about Mecole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce, McKinnon, Isaiah Pacheco, and now Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Sky Moore. You've got your work cut out for you defensively. I think they'll be fine. But for me, it's going to come down to Kansas City beating Philadelphia with running and throwing the ball. I think being one-dimensional, I'm not saying it is, but at times they kind of fall in love. They kind of get into bad habits. So they're going to have to mix in the run and the pass. I think it's also, too, if you're Philadelphia, you have to generate pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And then Philadelphia, for Kansas City, defensively, you're going to have to take something away from Jalen Hurts, whether that's passing the ball or running the ball. Also, too, how do you contain those weapons defensively if you're Kansas City? Because now this is where your money's definitely made if you're the defense. This is where Steve Spagnuolo. This is where all your chips are now have to be pushed to the middle. You're great against the run. Even they were like the second to dead last in the red zone offense. But it's those are my keys to winning the game. I think the only injury is Kadarius Toney, but it looks like he's good to go from what I've seen. I mean, this should be a great Super Bowl, and I'm looking forward to it. I think no matter what, for me, I have admiration and I have respect for Andy Reid. We all know what he's done for Philadelphia. He was there for 14 years, if I remember correctly. To me, he's a Hall of Famer regardless. He wins or loses this Super Bowl. Just a guy who just goes out there and just has passion to be a coach. If I was running an NFL team, he's one of many coaches I want on the team. And I'm not worried about Patrick Mahomes' ankle. He'll be ready to go. I didn't really hear a lot of concerns. I'm just saying and I could be wrong, and if there is, please correct me on it. But I didn't see the same energy with Jalen Hurts and his throwing shoulder. But that's neither here nor there. Both these guys are ready to go, and I'm looking forward to it. For me, I love to see the fact that again we have two black starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. I thought I would never see it. To me, what especially the media and years of what is particularly you get the criticisms of particularly black men he can't be a quarterback in this league. He needs to try to play other positions. They've done it they've done it when Lamar Jackson came into the league. They did it to Hines Ward. They've done it to many guys who unfortunately switched positions, and some did well. But this just shows you that when you just continue to work on your craft and tune out the critics and just prove them wrong, this is what you're going to see. And I'm really happy for Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes because it's well deserved. It's well deserved. But if I had to pick, the Philadelphia Eagles will win Super Bowl 57. The final score will be Philadelphia 40, Kansas City 37.
Guaranteed.
I just think that it's going to be that kind of a scoring offense. You're not going to see last year. That's just me. I just don't see another Super Bowl like that because if it is, I don't know what to say. But let's get into our last topic of the night, and that is, you guessed it, final
incoming message.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
So I hope everybody enjoys the Super Bowl. Already, though I'm going to be doing for the Super Bowl, I will not be watching the halftime show. It's just me. I don't watch the halftime shows. That's just not me. I remember one year when the Ravens played down in New Orleans. I didn't watch it. I did something else until the game came back on. For me, I miss about the game. And That's just always been me. But it's gonna be a great Super Bowl. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm hoping there's some good commercials. I already saw one earlier today with the New York Mets. That was funny. But yeah, man, make sure you have your favorite foods, and just be tuned in for a great game. Shout out to the city of Arizona. It's been a big day for them, hosting the Super Bowl 57, and also to getting Kevin Durant with the Phoenix Suns. So with that being said, that's going to conclude this episode. Tomorrow will be episode 18. We will have the Maryland Terrapins. Get ready for them, because it's things we need to talk about with the men, because they lost Wednesday night, and that game was very disappointing. And then the ladies won tonight. I will have I'm actually going to have the recap up as well for tonight's game. Also, too, I have put up, if you've been not seeing lately, videos yesterday, Tuesday, and Monday. Team USA women's basketball. I was invited to partake in media availability for the training camp for 2024 as we're getting ready for Paris for the Olympics. So today, those last days were Team USA women's basketball. So those videos are up. I put those up earlier today. The Los Angeles Sparks, Azrae Stevens, Jasmine Thomas, and De'Arca Hamby media availabilities are put up. I will reach out to the Washington Mystics. Brittany Sykes had her media availability, and they had not put it up on the website. And I need to reach out to them. I'll reach out to them tomorrow. So those will be up. The post game for Maryland versus Northwestern will be up in about a few minutes. So be tuned in for that. But other than that, just be tuned in for the future content, for future episodes. Like I said, Brendan Potts will be on. I have him on Saturday. That'll be a recorded episode. There will be no episode recorded for Sunday. We will recap the game Monday. We will recap the game Monday. And then give me about a couple days, maybe kind of get ready for as we get ready for the Big Ten tournament, and then also too, we're getting ready for March Madness, and then NFL offseason, and then we're getting ready for the WNBA draft. So there's gonna be a lot of content. I'm still working on an end date for season 13. We probably will. I don't know yet, but we'll get there when we get there. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in Big Nate Sports Talk podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all future content. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Y'all have a good night. Peace. Stay up.
Won't you love me till the morning? Love me in the Won't you love me till the morning? Love me in the evening. You know what I want. Won't you hold me like I'm yours? Show me that I'm yours. You know just what I want. Won't you love me like the last time? Like our time was right now. Show me what it's about. Love me till the morning. Love me in the evening. You know what I want. I know I'm yours, baby. So come give me love. You know you're mine, baby. So come give me love. I never felt nothing quite like this. I get a high every time we kiss. Can't get enough, babe. So come give me love. All of your love. Won't you love me till the morning? Love me in the evening. You know what I want. Won't you hold me like I'm yours? Show me that I'm yours. You know just what I want. Won't you love me like the last time? Like our time was right now. Show me what it's about.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you, yeah. I wanna thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I wanna thank you. And I wanna thank you. All I wanna do is say thank you for everything.